Guest. A torn postcard brought me to this place of shallow, breathy fog. I ask among the many ghosts and hear of my brother, the older one, who's taken form again and must be lulled to sleep. Don't abandon the second world, he says, after putting on my shirt. He searches through the pockets. If there were cliffs, then mist would dive off the cliffs. The first wind in 10 years has stirred in this place. Clouds bring great packages of snow in formation, or the sand of whole beaches which show the ghosts ever so slightly. They howl at their forms. Now I can slip away or not slip away and be seen.
Lake Mendota. Lake Mendota, you are like a big handshake. You're like an open hand placed on a wood table, a big hand with fat fingers and a heavy palm. The wind on the lake makes the wrinkles in the skin. The currents on the lake are the lines on the palm and the creases of the fingers. Lake Mendota, you are a fist when it's cold. Lake Mendota, you are a caress in the spring. Lake Mendota, your waves keep coming, keep coming, keep coming at me. You are a persistent lake. Your winds don't let up. Lake Mendota, I am the shore, and I love you.
Poem. I filled a notebook with various sized tracings from memory of the birthmark I discovered beneath the tiny hairs just above the nape of your neck. I studied each awkward circle. Then I filled each kidney and pool with salty tears, held the book like a sponge and wiped my body clean, then wrung it out and folded each page carefully and put a page into every pocket of my clothes, stuffed them inside the collars of my shirts, in all my pants with hems, in the lining of my coat.
Drummers on the steps. The drummers on the steps beat the sun down. The drummers on the steps are a crowd. Their beat gets faster till it erodes and diminishes. Then someone shouts, and a few people shout, and the beat starts again. The people join, or they leave. It doesn't matter. The beat rises and falls. One guy gives another guy change. Would you change $1? Here's my $1. Give me your 4 quarters, and here, hold my tambourine. Can you shake it? It sings. Here's my bass drum, shatter it, and distribute the pieces. Here is the sun, about to go down behind a mountain, shatter it. And give the light to the blind, give these shouts of joy to the deaf, give my fingertips to those who can't feel. Here is a cowbell. Give it back to the cow. Here is my shoe. Put it on your foot. Lead me to those steps that lead to the water. Hello, the Pacific. I give you the ocean, because it means peace. Next Saturday? Next Saturday for sure. The band is breaking up now. Saturday, brother.
Boundaries of fish. Sparkles of light flash off the water like cameras in an auditorium. The sea demands an encore. The stars last night were a chorus. Today is the refrain. Here's to the seaweed thrown on the beach, to the necklace of the waves. Hail to the prow of the canoe, tracing the boundaries of fish. 3 birds in a row bob on the water, and 3 birds hover in the air, watching for silver fish. A man takes his crutches into the surf, leaves them with a friend, and then goes swimming. He swims straight into the waves. For each sip of water, another story. For every wave, a man swimming against it. a crab for every pile of sea oats, and a line of seaweed for every beach. For every throb of a crane's neck, another step to be taken. For every cluster of birds, a cluster of fish. For every ripple, a small burst of wind. For every ocean, a sky, and for every star, a great darkness around it.
In the Museum of Atrophy. 1. The sky is a gold cigarette, a firebrand that claims eternity, or what looks like eternity from here. Watching you in the dying light of the winter afternoon, I knew that you were the one for me, my heart, for the rest of my miserable life. Whose claim can claim the sand, if the sand is covered with snow? This isn't a beach after all. If it'll make you happier, I'll admit to it. I missed my chance to be a hero. There will be no wedding and no wedding day. Only night, followed by night. 2. Today the snow fence deserves its name. Patches of sand show through. In this wind, it's easy to forget everything and dive into a drift and be blown like a flurry across the expanse. I've forgotten the time and the last time I've been here. I've forgotten the fury of arms and torsos and legs that passes as humidity in summer. And I've forgotten you, sweet, wonderful, what's your name? You, who are the ice that evaporates directly into gas. I stand on snow and on sand, and I drown. 3. You open like a flower in slow motion, or like the cloud that loses to the sun. Here come the tears that have been trusted to the sky. Oh, my love, my soaking mist, my sudden squall that chases me into the open. Can't you tell the effect of liquid on this sponge? I am waterlogged and heavy. I try to rust, but I can't. I'll pick the heart above every other organ, because its little beat echoes the mass of you falling into my emptying cup. 4. Time was impassable, so we passed later on. The afternoon fell like a clam against the rocks, dropped by a seagull and carefully watched and devoured. Before we could honor the powerful ocean, foam rushed the beach. You could say we were trapped. We waited. We wore the same skin in an attempt to get warm. We tasted the mineral sand. Best not to laugh, we reminded each other. This was his beach, and we were more than one guest.
Objects on a table. The white tin of coffee, the white mustard jar, white rope, boxes, baskets, bowls, all white.
Drawing on white paper. They've been painted white by someone obsessed with loneliness or death. Someone who is greedy for the light and would not want to share it with the objects around him. He lives inside your rib cage and shakes cans of spray paint. He dips his roller in overflowing pans. Paint freckles his arms. Collecting objects and painting them. He's growing old, collecting objects and painting them. So you won't be lonely. He gathers them for you so you won't be lonely. Take them, they're a gift. He purifies them. Take them, they might save you. Take them, they belong to ghosts. Take them, ghosts use them as furniture. They might save you. Take them, they belong to ghosts. You can speak with the dead. Ghosts use them as furniture. You can rearrange them. You can speak with the dead. Birthday poem. This year I am a blade of grass, aspiring to become a field. This year I am a tidal pool, yearning for the sea. This year I am water vapor, about to become a cloud. This year I am a mote of dust, working to become a continent. This year I am a flagellate protozoa, only a few mutations from becoming a whale.
This year I am a ripple, practicing to become the tide. This year I am a footprint that becomes the superhighway. This year I am a breath that starts the jet stream. This year I am an egg, soon to become a species. This year is the year when my one cell divides into two. This is the year when my two cells prepare for long division. This is the year when a single droplet becomes a waterfall. This is the year when a single prayer turns into a religion. This is the prayer.
Words to intone when you greet your lover. I honor the God within you. I honor the angel that sits on your ear when you sleep. I honor his small laugh that makes you dream in the morning. I honor the lacrosse game that is played under your eyelids when you dream. I honor the small God selling peanuts in the stands. I honor the ark he tosses the bags in when he throws them to you. I honor the rain that stays on your umbrella after you shake it out. I honor each drop as if it were the God that made you. I honor each word that I hear as if you had said it. I honor you for daring to say words reserved for gods and disciples. I honor the ghost that lives in your guitar, the way she overtakes you at night. I honor the God who lives in your fridge because she always turns the light on. I honor the God in your screen door because it gets stuck to remind me to honor her before leaving. I honor the gods of the path to your door. I honor the gods of the cubes in your glass because they get to touch your lips despite being cold. I honor the gods that hide in your pockets because they're afraid to come out and reveal to me exactly what they're good for. Who knows how many other gods hide in your room that I don't know about, like the God of your journal. How many times have I stood before your journal, afraid to open it and see her bathing in the river? She bathes in a river of warm water with her daughters. I can hear them splashing and joking and passing shampoo, but I don't dare enter. I only honor them.
Anger. She is the sea, she is the ocean. When she rears up, the skies retreat and grow dark. When the waters stir, big fish swim into deeper water. Anemone close up. The shadows of birds slip away. Her anger is like the white froth left behind the waves. I live in the peaks and troughs of her waves. I rise and fall with the plankton. I am swallowed and excreted. I am dropped into steaming forests, onto leaves and moist dirt. I am sucked through roots and canals, up trunks and branches, along stems into the tiniest veins of the leaves. I am breathed through the cell walls of the leaf into the air. I am carried to the ground by a piece of dust. I search out rivulets and streams, raging river gorges cut clean to the sea.
Glassblower. There's a glassblower in Venice, blowing into a pipe to make a little vial of green glass for you. There's a sponge diver in Tarpon Springs, Florida, deep down under the water, collecting loofah and soft sponges for you. There's a sidewalk artist drawing a Rembrandt with colored chalk in front of a cathedral in Amsterdam for you. There's a dark Sicilian taking off his shoes and washing his feet to prepare to stomp grapes for you. There's a baker in Paris slicing an almond to make a pastry for you. There's a high priestess in Bali separating the thin-veined leaves from the thick-veined leaves in the incense she will light for you. There's someone in charge of quality control at the Pilsner beer factory in Prague, wiping the suds from his stash for you. There's a slight woman with long, thin fingers who sits at her loom in New York's Chinatown, choosing a different colored thread for the cloth that she weaves for you. There are toll takers in toll booths, taking tokens and giving receipts and giving directions to you. There's a whole squad of cheerleaders in the senior lounge comparing the curves of their calves for you. There are girls and boys who whisper your name in the bathroom. They put up construction paper decorations on the lockers of football players, but they whisper your name in the stands and on the track, in black and white saddle shoes. They write it in the corners of loose-leaf paper, in the palms of their hands, in felt-tip pen on their lockers, inside the doors. They summon you in the safety of cars, in parking ramps, at parties and over the phone. Whole high schools pulse with your heartbeat. Boys fight each other in parking lots. They throw punches and kicks and have knives. There's a small boy picking the bark off a tree for you. Although he doesn't know it yet, his father will burn the bark with the leaves, and the smell will remind you of a vacation you took long ago as a child on a big lake up north, and the feel of the wind on your face by the lake and the stillness of the woods. That boy transported you by picking off the bark, and a brisk wind blows ashes and embers from the burning pile.
Food and lumber. Where were you after the flood? I searched the entire hold. The mold was tight-lipped. The barnacles were stubborn. There was a forest down there, your palm prints on the vines, cobwebs that turned to water when touched, puddles turning to dust, the damp wood evaporating, wood pegs twisting themselves out of their holes, the ribs of the ship exhaling, cages and cabinets, like a violi of a lung that will collapse, the keel growing a tail made of sludge and warm water, cider fermenting in wooden barrels, limes, lemon peels, a colony of stone crabs crawling over each other in a mound by the anchor, the black grease abandoning the chain, the jealous scum watching from the edge of portholes, a rope made of hemp uncoiling, spider mites collecting seed husks and rat hairs for their nests, a slow viscous film forming on the handles of trunks and doors, your yellow sea slicker on its hook by the stairs. Like a ghost on a diet, it sways against the sway of the ship. I shook hands with my landlord. I saw 2 cardinals and then a squirrel. They took my house away. And the bell of birdseed not nearly half eaten, the birdhouse still empty of small-chested birds. Monday I'll buy a 4-inch drill bit and open up holes in the walls. I'll invite all the creatures who live here to come with me. The mice and the roaches, the mold and thaw stink, the many-footed things that run in the walls and beat the drums in my dreams, the frost that distorts the view through my window and reveals my next home in the broken light.
The end of the season. The rain that we prayed for all summer has come. 2 straight days of rain and cold air and wind The deep end of the season, foretold by air horns and downpours, whitecaps on the Sound. Today, sunny Wednesday, herbs in clay pots, the steady murmur of cicadas counting the end of the season. All sounds are lengthened. The leaves seem to yawn. The bees claim their vestibules and hover. The sidewalk, for all its straightness, meanders, and the grass along the edges opens its blue palms for the stone. The street, like an urchin, retreats into itself, and the bushes and the birds make a clamor. A cat on the sun porch watches as the floorboards stretch out one last time in preparation of fall. Dust meanders in the little thermals of the front yard. A fat fly buzzes in the corner, and a slow paw reaches out. The bark of a dog put everything in motion. I was biking up the back road to the top of East Rock, and I rode through a shower of leaves that were yellow, and at the top I saw valleys laden with fog, and the trees along Science Hill stood out as if at the edge of a Japanese mountain, and the yellow lights of the highway swayed in the mist. And then a gang of kids wandered through, picking fights with gangs of ghosts. All of a sudden I can see them, Union boys and Great War boys, drunk submarine boys from World War II who hang out at the memorial, throwing rocks and bottles at each other, walking along the edge of the cliff. They stand with their rock faces in the wind. Little sphinxes, they watch as the last of 20 stone centuries sinks into the Sound. Here, among the rushing of leaves and the shower of dust, is the city and its trees, big bonsai trees, coastline, leeward trees, a little bit of Bermuda on the Sound, the city like a boat in a squall, all hands going somewhere.